When we talk about writing a business plan for your business, know that this is a document or a set of documents that you're going to use personally as you walk through the planning process to make sure you've thought of everything you need to think of to get your business started. But possibly more importantly, from a formal business plan concept, it's what you will use to present to a banker or an investor to prove to them that you've thought of everything that you need to think of to get your business started successfully. A big piece of that, especially from a banker and an investor's perspective, is the numbers side. So in addition to the narrative that you will be writing that will include some of the information that you've put together from what we've talked about already in this program, you will put together 2 spreadsheets that will talk about the numbers side of what your business will look like. The first piece is startup costs. As we walk through the next section, we'll talk about the various pieces and the various expenses that you will have to get your business started. Everything that you will have to have in hand that you will have to have purchased in order to open your business that very first day. So let's start thinking about what those numbers are. So start thinking about things such as location, improvements on that location, furnishings, equipment that might be specific to your business, general equipment such as cash registers and computers, working capital, the money you need to pay the first month's expenses before you really have a significant amount of income coming in, and signage to tell people you're there and you're open. When we will begin working on an actual spreadsheet, but let's talk about what goes into that spreadsheet. We talked about location costs. One of the questions to ask yourself is your business going to be located in your home? Are you going to work out of your home? Or will you have a separate location for your business? Is it the right location? Do you have the amount of traffic that you need for visibility, or does your business need that visibility? Do you need to have parking available for your customers? Will your neighbors be okay with you having a business if you choose to do a home-based business? Is zoning confirmed that you're able to do a home-based business? Is zoning confirmed for the type of business you're going to do if you're not operating out of your home? Be sure to look at the purchase price of the building, including related closing costs, and then also deposits associated in case you choose to rent to begin with. If you are really wanting to start and make your own spot in the world, new construction costs should be considered, and the time and all the related costs associated with that. If you're starting with an existing property, you want to think about real estate improvements. What improvements, what physical changes need to be made to get your new place of business ready to make it work for your needs? Will you need to have new wiring, new roofing? Talk with your city officials and have them walk through the building with you and explain how you're planning to use the facility. Ask for their input on what needs to be brought up to code before they'll provide an occupancy permit for you. It's good to do this before you make a commitment, whether that be a lease commitment or whether that be a purchase commitment on the building. And you also need to get costs at that point and for what those changes will be, so that you can consider that when you're making your plans. Furniture is another piece. Even if you're working from home, do you have a desk? Do you have a chair, furniture that you need to be able to operate effectively? If you're a retail space, do you have display cases? If you are an office-related business, do you need filing cabinets, workspaces? If you're a facility such as a restaurant, there could be many different types, tables and chairs for your customers. A variety of types of furnishings that might be specific to your business. What about computer hardware and software? Those might be more general, and every business needs them in some capacity. It may be something you may be able to operate your business through your cell phone, or an iPad. You may decide you need an actual hard drive computer or a laptop to be able to make that work for you. What kind of software will you need? Are you needing to need purchased software? Do you have online access to different types of software such as accounting or Microsoft Office, those kinds of programs that may be something that you need? Do you have software that's specific to your business? Quoting software to help you if you're doing some type of a construction business and you need to provide quotes for your customers. Think through all of those pieces and decide what works best and what you need, and more importantly, what they cost. Undoubtedly, you'll need equipment specific to your business. You may need vehicles of some sort. You may need some type of equipment such as a blender or a mixer or an oven or any type of, a saw. What equipment do you need to operate your business? This may be equipment that you already have. Maybe you have commercial grade lawn mowers that you're using for your lawn mowing business. Maybe you have display cases you've accumulated over the years at auctions in thinking about planning for this business. Be sure to write all of that down, even if it's equipment you already own, because that's part of the equity. It was part of the cost of creating your business and you've already spent that money. So be sure to write that down as part of the cost of the business. If you're reselling items or you're making something to sell, you're going to have beginning inventory costs. So when you have a restaurant, when you go out and buy salt and flour and sugar for the first time, that's a significant cost. If you are operating some type of a retail store where you're reselling clothing or accessories or home decor, you have to go out and make those purchases to begin with. So be sure to plan to have that inventory for people to buy in your store, or the inventory you need to make what they're going to buy. The information you received in advance included an Excel spreadsheet called Startup Costs. That spreadsheet is essentially what bankers call a source and use statement. On this spreadsheet, you're going to identify the various costs that are involved in starting your business. You're going to identify whether that cost is coming from your own personal investment, another investment of some sort, or commercial financing or / investor financing. So for example, if you had a source and use statement, you would want to put on that items that you have already purchased for your business, equipment, inventory, furnishings, etc. And you would provide a list with the value of those. Let's say in this case, that totaled $20,000. You're also going to put here the portion of the purchase price that you're willing to put into the business in cash. So let's say you're buying a building that's going to cost $150,000, and you're going to put 20% down in that building, and so that will be a $30,000 cost. Working capital. This is the money you're going to need to get the business going that first month before you actually have income. Let's say for now that's $10,000. So now you are putting $60,000 into the business itself. In this case, we're saying that $20,000 of that may be money you've already spent, but that you've spent on items that are going to be used in the business. You also have an additional $40,000 that's coming from your own personal savings in order to be able to start this business. Let's say in the other investment section, you may have some other access to cash. Maybe you are in an area that offers a special government program of some sort. Maybe your landlord is willing to waive the first 2 or 3 months rent, assuming you're renting instead of buying. This is where you would account for that value. And so in this case, they're going to say you have a small business grant in the downtown area, and you're going to receive $3,000 from that. That leaves 80% of the building cost, or $120,000. Improvements are going to need to be made to the building. $20,000 for a new roof, $8,500 for electrical upgrades, $15,000 for plumbing upgrades, including ADA accessible restrooms. Again, remember to have your city inspector walk through the building with you ahead of time. There may be code requirements such as ADA accessible restrooms that have to be fulfilled before a new owner can take over the building and open a business there. You also would put here beginning inventory that you're purchasing. I would include a list with what that is and the value. And in this case, we're saying it's worth $12,500. You're also going to put in a list of equipment you're purchasing that with quotes showing that this is the value of that. And in this case, we're saying that's just $5,000. And we're also doing the same for furnishings, which we're putting down at $4,500. And then we're also putting in deposit on utilities, especially electrical utilities. Frequently, if you have not established commercial credit, not just residential credit, but commercial credit with a provider, they will require 3 months deposit up front. So that's 3 months based on the power usage in that facility prior to your taking it over. Then they will, that is a deposit, they will repay it within a year, but it is money you have to have up front. Sometimes comes as a surprise. So in our example, you're asking for $187,000 on a $250,000 project. So you're asking for 75% of the total cost of the project to be funded through commercial financing or through an investor.